Hello, and welcome to Guiding Gettysburg. In the spring of 1861, a group of men from throughout the state of Pennsylvania gathered in Westchester for training camp. These men would soon be soldiers and be sent off to wherever the battle would need them. They were based in Westchester for training, and while they were there, they met some very good friends. One of them was a young lady named Sallie, and she befriended the soldiers, and she would do nice things for them, like a little bit of sewing and maybe baking some cookies, and just a friendly conversation, that kind of thing. The men really admired Sallie Ann and thought of her as their little sister, I guess. While they were also in Westchester, a woman in the town had a dog, and her dog had a litter of puppies. These puppies were called American Staffordshire Terriers. And if any of you know anything about them, they are very similar in appearance to pit bulls. But they have a more pleasant face than a pit bull, and their ears curl forward a little bit like that. And they're a little more friendlier looking in general. They gave the group of soldiers one of the puppies, and the soldiers immediately began training the puppies to go into battle as kind of a mascot, so they wouldn't be afraid of rifles and things like that. They gave the name of this puppy the name of Sallie Ann Jarrett. Now, Sallie Ann was named after their good friend who did the sewing and baking for the soldiers, and Jarrett was the name of their former colonel. Their colonel had been replaced at this time, but they really liked their past colonel, so they named his last name was Jarrett. Sallie Ann grew up and she followed the soldiers. She was with them through 8 campaigns, believe it or not, and she protected them. She took her place beside the color guard. She knew where her station was, and she stayed there, and during a battle, she would get right next to the flag and bark ferociously at the soldiers who were firing upon her Union friends. Sallie Ann's infantry unit marched in review in front of President Lincoln twice, and Sallie Ann was right there next to the color guard during the parade. President Lincoln even smiled at her both times. She was becoming quite well known within the Union Army. On July 1st, Sallie Ann was in combat against the Confederates on Oak Ridge. By the time July 2nd rolled around, they could not find Sallie Ann, and they wondered what happened to her. Had she been killed or what? But the soldiers went back to where they fought previously the day before, and they found Sallie Ann sitting with the dead soldiers and also the wounded. She would not leave her men if they needed her. This was such a brave little dog. It is said that between 1861 and 1865, Sallie Ann had 5 litters of puppies. So she must have met some stray dogs along the way, and I hope they were as brave as she was. In February of 1865, at Hatcher's Run, Virginia, Sallie was sadly shot and killed. Her group of soldiers, though, buried her immediately where she fell. Sallie Ann Jarrett was truly a brave little dog. She loved the men that she worked with, and she was well respected and honored in the Union Army. If you ever go out to Oak Ridge, there's a monument out there to the 11th Pennsylvania Infantry, and at the base of the monument lies Sallie Ann Jarrett, a beautiful sculpture of this little terrier dog. People leave milk bones and little gifts for Sallie all the time. And it makes you sad to think that she was such a brave little girl and gave her life during the Civil War. I hope you enjoyed this story. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Bye-bye.